Here we have an Aurora 20,000 watt diesel generator sitting in our showroom out here for display. Thought I'd highlight some of the features on it. It's typical of the majority of the generators that we build here in Canada. You'll find the engines are all manufactured by Perkins in the United States, with the exception of one little engine we have that's made in Japan. The canopy enclosure, which has been removed in this model, is also built here, as well as the base frame structure, control panel, all the wiring harnesses. That's all done here in Canada. A lot of details, a lot of attention to details is spent and paid attention to when we build these generators. We take a lot of pride in our wiring and the electrical work that we do. That with other generators tends to be a failure point when they don't spend this kind of attention to their wiring. It ends up corroding over time, and generators end up breaking down. Most of our connectors, wherever possible, are all made by Deutz. Deutz is the type of connector you'll often see used in aviation and high-end automotive. They are watertight, vibration-proof. This is the main control harness to the engine, controlling your engine and alternator, and it's all through this multi-pin connector. And it's waterproof. This is the solenoid or heavy-duty relay that's used for your glow plugs. I just want to focus today on the wiring on our generators. You'll notice that we use heat shrink tubing as well as wire loom that is not split. Probably everywhere you look today, loom is split. Ours is solid all the way around. You'll never get water penetrating into there. Plus the heat shrink that we're using has an adhesive in it. When we apply it, it seals up the any cracks in there, so your wire is watertight from one end to the other. There's your starter and the connections again followed through here. Heat shrink tubing all the way around here. Let's move around to the engine's alternator that's used to charge your battery. Again, you'll find all the connections here. Deutz. They are watertight. That's a shell, a back shell I just took off. That's a 2-pin Deutz connector. That's watertight. You see the gasket on here. There's the wires, and that's the shell I just yanked off. You also find a water temperature switch or high temperature switch here, like a go, no-go dummy light you'd have in your car, but we know that's not enough. We want to know the actual temperature of the engine, so we also have a second sensor that we add on for temperature, so your controller can monitor your engine operation and shut off if necessary. Here's the rad. First time you get your generator, you'll be filling it up with coolant. We don't ship it typically with coolant. It's considered a hazardous material, and the shipping companies don't like it if it ever spills. But you don't want to have to go into here in the future, so we've added the coolant tank reservoir here, service tank, some people call it. When you fill, add about a quarter full here of coolant as well. When the engine is warm, you'll see it rise. When it's cool, it'll come back down again. So long as you can see coolant in here, you're fine. That's something we've added onto the engines. Again, Perkins engine, made in the USA. Should get you thousands and thousands of hours of trouble-free operation. And this is where your service, when required, will be done. We have a couple of things here I'm going to point out. For your oil changes, if you're doing them yourself, very simple. Put a pan under here, quarter turn. You can empty your oil from your oil pan, quarter turn, shuts off. That's all there is to it. You're going to remove your oil filter, replace it with a new one. This is your fuel filter. That's your dipstick. And your oil fill right here. And again, normally there's a canopy here, but it's all accessible from one door. Easy access for everything. This is the fuel injection pump, the fuel lines, the high pressure fuel lines to your top of your engine here where your fuel injectors are located. And each fuel injector, this is a 4-cylinder engine, you're going to see has glow plugs, 4 glow plugs. They're heating elements that turn on for about 8 seconds before you start your generator. It helps the generator start in cold weather. You can disable that if you don't want it. It's powered by 12 volts through this line here. And what else do we have here? Your governor. This is a mechanically governed engine. It maintains the engine speed regardless of what your load is. It's designed for the full 20 kilowatt. This particular one is a 20 kilowatt generator. No matter what your load is, the engine is not going to bog down. Your governor is going to adjust the fuel to maintain the engine speed. Should you ever wish to adjust it for some reason, remove this or loosen the set screw, turn this out a little bit, the RPM will drop, turn it up, the RPM will go up. There's another set screw here, factory sealed, cap on here. They don't want you to adjust that. That's the maximum engine speed. Looking over here, this is your oil pressure sensor. Again, Deutz connector, properly terminated, solid wire loom from one end to the next. And again, here's your gasket. Your wiring should last you a lifetime. Looking down at the fuel tank, if you pick a fuel tank for your generator, this is one of the many fuel tanks we make. It's an aluminum tank. It fits underneath your generator. It's typically referred to as a day tank, enough fuel to run your generator for a full day. There's the fuel cap with a mechanical fuel gauge on it. There's also your fuel lines, your supply, your return, your vent, and your fuel level sensor. Your fuel level sensor, that's an important feature. It is monitored by your controller. It lets you know how much fuel you have left. You can determine how much runtime you have before you need to refuel. And if you lose track of it and the controller senses your fuel is low, it will shut the engine safely off after a warning to not put you in a situation where you run out of fuel and air is drawn up to the through the fuel lines to the pump, and pumps can't pump air, they can only pump fuel. So it makes it a little difficult to get a generator started if you don't shut it off automatically before it runs out of fuel. Should it ever happen, it's really actually not that hard. Manually pump it here for a couple of seconds. That'll force the air up through to the pump, to the filter, fuel injection pump, fuel return line, back out again. Your generator will be started in no time. Air filter, that's in here. I'm only filming with one hand, so I'm not going to take it off, but you've got 3 clips around here, and the filter will come out. Another feature you don't see too often, we've added another temperature sensor here to monitor the air temperature inside your generator canopy. When your generator is enclosed, it is designed to be enclosed and operate outside, but depending on weather conditions and if you have some debris around your generator or somebody happens to throw something over it and plug up the air inlet or outlet, it's just monitoring the air temperature and making sure things are operating normally. It's a bit of added protection. If something's not operating normally, the controller will let you know, and if it's critical, it'll shut down your generator to prevent any damage. Again, the engine is made by Perkins in the United States, and this particular model, we have different types of generators. This particular model we build has a Linz electric alternator. Some people call them a generator. It's made in Italy. Amazing quality. That's it for this video. Next one, we'll go into a little more detail on your controller and how to configure that and hook up your automatic transfer switch. You can find more videos on auroragenerators.com.